Hey guys, welcome to another AfriForex video. Of course, if you haven't hit the subscribe button make sure that you do. That helps motivate us to keep doing this type of videos, and also so that this information does end up getting to a lot of people, because of course the YouTube algo, the more likes video does end up getting, the more it ends up getting shared to more people, so that this information can get to way more people. So it's Thursday evening. I'm just leaving the office. It's been an eventful day on the charts, as always. Of course, you know that on the charts every single day is different. No two trades are ever the same, but it's been a good day on the charts. Just heading back home. So in this video I'm gonna be talking about my routine, or what it is that I normally do on a daily basis, Monday to Friday, that is. Of course not Saturday and Sunday, that has a different routine. I know I would have talked about this maybe with a camera guy just following me all over the place, just making sure that you do end up documenting everything that I normally do end up getting up to in the course of the day. But I think I'll end up leaving that out for another time, maybe in another video where I do end up now talking about the day itself in a more elaborate manner. But so I've gotten so many emails. Guys want to know what type of routine do we have. Can you end up getting a routine like ours? Well, here goes. So my day normally starts off at around 5:30. That's when I normally get up. From 5:30 to around 6 a.m. in the morning. And by the way, we're talking about East African time, in case anyone does end up wondering. So this is East African time that we're talking about. So from 5:30 to around 6, get up, do the usual stuff to get ready, take a shower and just get ready for the day. A bit of exercise is also good. We don't normally wake up and the first thing that you end up looking at are the charts. I know that some of you are in that habit, whereby the charts were the last things you looked at just before you went to bed, and in the morning when you get up, the first thing that you do look at are the charts. And those are bad habits, man. You need to let go of that. You need to give your mind a break. So 5:30 to 6, just getting ready, a bit of exercise. Then from 6 to 6:30, I end up doing my daily devotion. Devotion is also good. It keeps your mind in check, so that at least you end up having a good overview of the charts, because Forex is 100% psychological. So if you're not really taking care of your mind, then there's bound to be a problem. And also God is important. So I start off the morning, doing a bit of Bible study, praying not only for myself but also for you guys, committing the day to God, because I do believe that there is a higher power. So once I end up doing that, that's from around 6 to 6:30. Then at 6:30, that's when the meetings normally start off. Of course, that's when we do end up doing the daily analysis with the AfriForex team. That's the team itself, not the webinar. So from around 6:30 to around 8, we end up looking at the charts. It's more or less like a briefing, whereby we look at what were the opportunities or what happened the previous day, what trades did we take, what worked, what didn't. Just making sure that the well-being of the whole team is also covered. So it's not only a matter of us guys looking out for ourselves, because we are a team. So we do look at what happened the previous day before we do end up looking at what the charts will have to offer. Because of course in the analysis, the first things we normally do are, of course, after we're done looking at what it is that the charts had to offer the previous day, we look at the fundamentals, see what news events are going to be there for the day, before we do end up moving on into the technical analysis to see whether or not things do end up matching up and such kind of things, and then come up with a watch list that us guys come and present to you guys during the 9 a.m. meeting, where we do end up doing the presentation or the webinar. So that runs normally from 6:30 to around 8. Also, we do end up having a lot of chit chat with the guys in the team, catching up and whatnot, because we are a family. It's not just a bunch of traders that trade together. We talk about other things, laugh about a lot of things, in those sessions. So that runs up until about 8. From around 8 to about 9, which is when the webinar now usually takes place. Now there it's a matter of preparing the screenshots that you guys normally send, and shout out to everyone who's been sending screenshots of late, or anyone who's actually ever attempted to send a screenshot to us, guys. We've gotten so many, and we're really happy, for the support that guys have shown. It's the only way that us guys can actually end up telling whether or not we're helping you guys or not. So shout out to everyone who also ends up coming for those sessions each and every morning. Much appreciated, because of course, we wouldn't be doing that without you guys. There'd be no fun in presenting those things to ourselves. So that whole process of preparing the screenshots and whatnot, that happens from around 8 to around 9. And also having a bit of breakfast, maybe having, light breakfast, not heavy breakfast, light breakfast, a cup of tea. I normally like having fruits, by the way, fruits, yogurt, maybe fresh juice, stuff like that. Not really a tea person and a coffee person. So that normally happens that time, end up relaxing for a bit, because also it's not a matter of just jumping into the webinar straight coming from the daily analysis with the AFRIFOREX team. So we do need a bit of a break. At least that helps refresh us, so that we can end up having a really good webinar and giving you guys something that is of value. So once that ends up happening, 8 to 9, of course, we do have the daily analysis session. If you haven't joined, make sure that you do end up plugging in. The link should be in the video description, and you can end up joining our sessions. They are free sessions. Once we do end up getting done with the session, because that runs from around 9 all the way till around 10, then we do end up getting into the London session, where we do end up trading with the AFRIFOREX team via Zoom. So that's where our live trading floor ends up being. We end up trading from around 10 to around 11:30, which normally takes about an hour and a half. But sometimes it normally ends up changing depending on the daylight savings. So sometimes you find that the London session will end up running from sometimes from 11, and that means that at least after the webinar we do end up having a bit of a break. So immediately we do end up jumping out of the daily analysis session. If the session or the London session is going to be starting off at 11, we end up getting into that, and that runs until around 11:30. And then from there, we do end up taking a break, doing other things. If we have to head out to the office, that's when we normally do end up heading out to the office. But more or less, we end up chilling out, especially recently due to Corona and stuff. There isn't much traveling and going places, going to the office and stuff. So once that does end up happening, then we end up linking up again with the team to trade the US session. That normally happens from 2:30. Because we normally like to be there a couple of minutes, like half an hour at least before the session starts. We don't just like jumping into the session immediately. It does end up starting off. So if the session is going to be starting off at 3, that means by 2:30 we are there, we're ready, looked at everything that needs to be looked at. If we're gonna be starting off at 4, because also sometimes due to daylight saving, sometimes the session does end up starting off a bit later on, then that means that we will be probably sitting down with the team 30 minutes before at around 3:30, looking at everything, seeing if anything has changed before we do end up trading that particular session. By the way, even for guys in the AFRIFOREX team, because we do have targets that we do end up meeting, and everyone has their own targets. If you've met your targets during the London session, then there is no point of coming back to jump onto the charts during the US session. So there's always that leeway, and I think this is also something that you guys can also end up applying in your trading. If you've met your target, no need to overtrade, no need to over risk. Necessary risks and losses or rather necessary taking of trades might end up leading to unnecessary losses. So it's not really necessary to just stay on the charts for the sake of just trading or making money. If you've made enough for the day, then call it a day, wait for the next day. So that even also ends up applying for us. So we normally trade the US session, let's say from around 2:30, let's say all the way till around 4:30, because we also like to see the session open. So if that's gonna be happening, the New York session open, that is the New York Stock Exchange, because you don't know that the US session has 2 opens. There's the New York Open, the New York Stock Exchange Open. So we also like to have a glance of what ends up happening within that time. So more or less by 4:30 or 5:30, depending on the daylight savings and stuff, we're done for the day. So once that does end up happening, now it's a matter of the evening program. For me, is if I have any one-on-one students or anything of the sort, then that's where I do end up getting to do that. If not, then I guess it's just going to be a time to probably just end up chilling, probably just waiting for the next day. So basically it's just trading the 2 main sessions. Once that is done, then there is no point of over trading and trying out stance on the charts. Maybe also in the evening, that's also the time that I normally spend trying out new things, on the charts, gymming on the charts. That's what we normally call it, where we're trying out various things on the charts and stuff like that. So that normally happens also in the evenings, but more or less my evening by around 6, I'm not on the charts until the following day. And that's a routine that I've followed year in, year out. It works for me. If I end up hitting my targets during one of the sessions, let's say if it's the London session, well and good. If not, come back for the US session. If I can end up trading smaller lots during the US session, because also you don't want to be giving back what it is that you've made in the earlier session if you've already more or less met your target. So that's pretty much how it is. It's a simple routine. I know some of you may end up saying that, and it's okay. Let your comments be known, or your opinions be known in the comment section. Us guys are always open for positive and negative criticism. But generally that's how the day is, for me. So also guys, feel free to share your routines. Is yours different? Is yours similar to mine? How do you end up going about yours? So generally that's how the day is. Like I mentioned, it's a simple routine, and of course evening routine, probably end up watching a bit of Netflix and other stuff on YouTube and things like that. Primetime news at 9. Once that's done by like 10, then I'm off to bed. The routine repeats, starts all over again from 5:30 in the morning, over and over. So it's something that I've done for years. It's in my blood, to the extent that I don't even need an alarm clock. My body just wakes up at around that time each and every morning. So that's basically how my routine is. So guys, feel free to comment. Let me know, is your routine something like mine? For those of you that are clueless in terms of what type of a routine you can end up following, maybe you can end up picking something out of mine. It doesn't have to be exactly as mine is, but you can end up picking something out of that. See how you can end up implementing that even for your routine on a daily basis. And of course, keep those questions coming in on MBUGUA at afri-fx.com. Gotten a lot of emails. I'm still getting to them. Even this daily routine is also a question that was asked. So what I normally do is I look out for things that are really being asked by many people, and I end up compiling that and seeing how I can end up answering that on a video. But feel free to send in those questions, keep them coming. I will be getting to them. I have gotten to a lot of them, especially when us guys had gone that it is that we're on a break during the daily analysis sessions and everything. So at least I end up spending that time in the morning to end up getting to your questions. So of course, if you haven't signed up for the daily analysis sessions, I can't remind you, make sure that you do. We end up discussing the charts each and every morning. Shout out to everyone who does end up joining us, and I know that there are a lot of you who join us for the morning sessions who are watching this video right now. And of course, if you haven't hit the subscribe button and the like button, make sure that you do. Know that I'm starting to sound like a broken record, but this is YouTube. Not really getting paid, by the way. I know that some of you may think that we get paid and we get our money from YouTube. We don't. We actually get nothing out of YouTube. This is just out of passion, just trying to help as many people as possible out there to see if they can end up having a smoother journey than what us and some of us did end up going through. So that's the reason why we do end up doing these videos. So until the next video, guys, happy trading, and as always, may the tips be with you. Cheers, guys.